Sundays, I figured that I have like so many Sharkies. This is a little much, but that's okay. I figured that I would jump on a live video and talk to you guys about meal prep. Like I said, usually Sundays, my day to organize everything, get stuff in order, make sure that meal prep, I have everything that I want to use for the week. Like I said, usually we do a mix of kind of the Eat Fit Go meals, some protein bars, some shakes, and then we grill up the meats that we want to have for our protein sources. So usually that is tri-tip. We like to just do a big tri-tip. It's $20 and it has a ton of servings between Eric and I. And then we get some grilled chicken, we get some chicken breasts. So we get about 6 and then we grill those. And then we'll make some potatoes. We like to mix sweet potatoes and the regular white potatoes, and we chop them up and we just roast those. Another thing that I like to do, I like to make the hard-boiled eggs in the Instant Pot. So when I have the hard-boiled eggs in the Instant Pot, I like them soft-boiled actually, so I just put them in for 4 minutes. And hard-boiled eggs in the Instant Pot is perfect at about 6 minutes. But when I'm on these live videos, I figured maybe we can think about a time that I will just come on and be on and you guys can just ask me questions. I know that I jump on and then there aren't a lot of people actively knowing that I'm on for you guys to kind of jump in and be on it while I am to ask me things. But I was figuring if you are meal prepping and you have something going on and you want an answer to it on Sunday, we can figure it out. We can figure out how to troubleshoot for you. So Eric and I, we don't usually split everything up into individual little meals. We kind of keep all of the steak and chicken together. We'll keep the ground turkey together. We'll keep everything together and then we kind of mix and match. So I know that people say that it can get pretty boring eating some of the same protein sources. But truly, if you're using different seasonings, if you're using different combinations and different sides, and you get creative, for instance, I've been eating the ground turkey that we've made with sauce and zoodles or spaghetti squash and the sauce. You guys know I like that Cucina Antica sauce. I've been using that. Eric's been making them into little burritos with a low carb wrap because he's dieting too. If you guys aren't aware, he's on season 2 of Fit to Fat to Fit and he's on the weight loss portion right now. So he gained weight and now he's losing it with his client. Lori is his client. Sometimes she comes on, but she's not on right now. But they're doing awesome. So as you can see with the ground turkey, I make it one way, a couple different styles I just told you about, and then Eric will make something completely different. So I know often I get complaints, I don't want to eat something different than my family's eating. Well, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can make one main protein source that your family would eat, and you can make it different ways. So you could make regular pasta if you have kids, and you can make yourself zoodles. The zoodles take 1 minute. You just use the spiralizer, and you put them in the microwave for a minute. So you could do that to cut the carbs out for yourself, and then you could all be having the same basic dish. The meatballs, if you want to do spaghetti and meatballs, we have some really great combinations in that recipe book that Joanna and I just put out, the Fit and Full. There's apple sage, but you can make those same meatballs with any kind of ingredient that you want. You could just sub things out and switch things out. The other thing that I've been doing from the ebook and the Fit and Full ebook is making chicken different ways. So we have, the 5-spice Chinese chicken, we have a lemon rosemary chicken, and at the Macro Chef, what we did was we gave everyone meals to take with them and we put them in the freezer. So another thing you could do, say you have, for instance, Eric and I will be out of town next weekend. We're going to visit Jem. He's a trainer. He's in Portland. So we're going to go see him and he's going to take me through a variety of leg days over the time that we're there. So I'm not going to be home on Sunday and then it's the Super Bowl. So what you could do is if you have time and you know that you're not going to have time in a week and you need it to stretch, what you can do is you can make extra for the following week and freeze it. That's something you can do when you travel too. You can freeze your meals and then just take them frozen with you. And then by the time you get to your destination, they've likely defrosted, but they're still cold. So they'll be preserved and you could still have those meals if you're going somewhere. I know that you're like, well, people might think, I don't want to travel with food. I don't want to explain to my family what I'm doing. Eating healthy, you really should not have to have an explanation. If you want to make sure that you're eating less restaurant, fast food, greasy processed things. If you wanted to bring your own food to a family member's house because you're staying out of town and you know you'll eat out and you'll go and enjoy yourself, you don't necessarily need to eat out of Tupperware at dinner. But when you think about it, guys, if you're eating a lot of restaurant meals and you're in fat loss, we talked about it. There's nutrition facts everywhere, but unfortunately, the only thing that they really, really weigh and they're really certain about is the protein source, because it's expensive and they're not going to give you extra protein. But you might get extra rice. It's not very expensive. You could get extra black beans, things like that. Those aren't very expensive. So there's a good chance that something that you're eating out at a restaurant that you're putting into your FitnessPal is inaccurate, which is fine when you're flexibly dieting and it's an every now and then occurrence. But if you're eating out consistently and you're trying to pursue fat loss, it just probably isn't really in the cards for you, because especially if you're females, we just don't have that many calories. So hi girls, I see some people are on the live video right now. I wanted to say, and I said it at the beginning, but if you just jumped in, you can ask me some questions. I figured that I'd start doing like Sunday Q&As. If you have any meal prep questions or things, if you're wondering what I meal prepped, if you're wondering how I navigate certain situations, you could ask me and I'm happy to share. So you can type it, whatever you want, in the little box, even if it's just like, hi, I'm here. Hi, Tamara. So you guys can just ask me whatever you want and I'll be happy to answer it for you. But what I just went over was kind of the meal prep that Eric and I do, how we do it. We don't split up the meals. We like to do kind of a mix and match so that if I want something low carb, then I can have low carb and he can have higher carb, or vice versa. And we just keep everything together. That's the only thing about the Eat Fit Go meals that is different than if we're meal prepping on our own, because with the Eat Fit Go meals, it's set. So I have to work my day around that. But when I have rice, potatoes, some of the protein source, and then I'm creating my own, I can adjust the amounts so that I can make it fit my day perfectly. If you are counting your macros and you're not planning your day in advance, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get stressed out, you're going to feel mentally drained, and you're going to feel like you're playing a lot of Tetris and what would be another good example of a game like the Sudoku. Like, you're going to be using a lot of your mental bandwidth trying to make sure that you hit your macros. So that's the plus side of a meal plan. I like to do something that's sort of in between. I create my day, and Eric does the same thing. We create our own kind of day that's counting our macros, and then we eat the same thing for 3 or 4 days, and then we switch to something else. So typically that just happens anyways for us. If we go to the grocery store, if we make a grocery store run, we'll make sure that we have what we want to have for maybe 3 or 4 days. And then as soon as we're out of that, we'll switch our day to what else we have in our kitchen. I wanted to touch on something about meal prep. Even if you're not fitness minded and your number one goal isn't fat loss, even if you are just like, hey, I can get away with kind of eating on the go, I don't really have to count every single day, that kind of thing. Financially, meal prepping and planning your meals is going to be a great strategy for you. So even if you financially and with time, if you have kids, you don't want to make extra grocery store runs. Every trip to the store is going to take about an hour round trip. When you think of packing the car, getting in the car, getting your kids in the car, getting to the grocery store, finding a parking spot, getting in, finding something that you want, going through the line, especially if you go to the new Fry's, coming back to your car, driving back home. So if you're not planning for your week meal prep wise, then you could be making a ton of extra trips back and forth, and that's taking away time that you could be spending building a fort in the living room with your kids, watching a movie that you guys wanted to see, playing matching game. For you, maybe you have some extra work to catch up on. Maybe you just want to rest because you're exhausted. This is going to free up a lot of time. And then it'll free up a lot of money as well, because you're not going to buy too much food when you get to the store, and you're not going to be throwing extra food out. I think that we've all been guilty of going to the grocery store, buying extra stuff, and then having it go bad. So that's something, yes, I think that was Chrissy. So that's something that I know in 2017, I've decided this year, and I know that I've been really hammering it home with you guys, isn't going to be just like a fitness year for me. Like, I'm going to do my best to make this my best mentally. I want to have the best mindset about everything. financially, I want to make really smart decisions. I want to make sure I'm not wasting money. I'm not throwing things out. The other thing I did, you guys know I've been on my organizing mission. Another side of the organization is I've been really going through all of my automated subscriptions and making sure that I'm not being charged for anything that I don't know that I'm being charged for. A lot of times I would try free trials of things and maybe I would forget to cancel or something would come up. So I'm going to make sure that I have everything organized when it comes to my finances, everything organized when it comes to the house, everything organized where I can find what I want to find with my clothes and my shoes and those kind of things. And that's going to help me not rebuy something that I already have, which I just did with Stitch Fix. You guys wouldn't believe I found a jacket that I had almost the exact same thing in my closet and I completely forgot that I bought it. So that would have saved me right there like $50. So I want you guys to think about that. Even if you're not in active fat loss, even if you're not, you're not dieting, meal prep isn't just for that. Meal prep can really help your entire family have more time together because you're not going to waste your time. Oh, thanks, Christy. Yes, the organization is huge. If you haven't seen the other ones, I've been on this huge kick about it. That and the 5-minute journal, I can't even stop. So you're going to have more time for your family. You're going to be able to organize your schedule. And then when you have all of those things in line, you don't feel like you're running around like a crazy person. You can actually focus, breathe, concentrate on those things. And you guys know I've been doing my 5-minute journal and I've been having my morning ritual. And now I'm going to start my evening ritual because I've been doing this now since December 20th. So now it's been 5 weeks and I've slowly changed some of these habits and I've slowly gone through my house and organized everything and I've made a lot of donations and I have it where I'm really trying to get like a good minimalist thing going on in my house. I do not need 406 shaker bottles. So Eric and I only need about 5 shaker bottles. So these are things to think about, guys. I felt like I needed a bigger space, a bigger house, but what I really need to do is organize things. So this week, let's focus this week on getting our meal prep, getting our grocery list, and deciding how much food you're going to need. There's going to be some calculating off the bat where you do some meal planning and you decide, okay, how much of this stuff am I going to need and what is a one-time purchase and what would be a weekly purchase. And maybe not exactly one time, but say for instance, you use some spices or seasonings, that's most likely something that you won't run through every single week. You can organize your list. I mean, I don't know how to use Excel, but I'm sure you could do it in Excel and it would be amazing. But you could use a Google Sheets where your Google Drive app is right on your phone and you could have a list of these are the proteins that I get, these are the carbs that I get, these are the vegetables that I get, these are the fats that I get, these are the fruits that I get. And these are the meals that I like to have. And you can take a quick glance around your cabinets and you can decide what you do use and what you don't. If something has been sitting in your pantry, even if it's non-perishable food item, for a zillion years and you have never gone in there and pulled it out to use it, please donate it. Donate it to someone, donate it to a food kitchen, donate it somewhere with somebody who can use this food. You're not using it. And then free up your pantry space for stuff that you are using. And that's the same thing with snacks. For instance, I bought a box of granola bars from Costco for Nolan, the kids, the Clip Z bars. He really likes those, but he doesn't like the chocolate brownie. I'm not going to eat the chocolate brownie. Eric wasn't going to, so we donated those as extra snacks at my son's school. That's fine. So now they're not going to go to waste. And I don't feel bad that I'm throwing out something that's in good working order. And you can do that with a lot of things. If you switch out your throw pillows in your house, you're not probably going to go and say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to go dig out those old throw pillows next year. No, you're probably going to replace them in a few years with something else that you like. So donate those things and free up some of your space so that you don't feel like you're over cluttered and you're claustrophobic with things. And once you have your shopping list down for your food items, it'll be easy because you can repeat it week after week. And what you can do after that is you can look up some different recipes. Like I said, we have the Fit and Full ebook. I'm obsessed with all the recipes in there. Joanna, she's a chef, but trust me, I can make all of these and I am not a chef. But that way you can still get your staples and you can just find different ways to create foods from those staples. Does that make sense? I think that it really helped me when I took the time to sit down and organize instead of running around scattered. And once I realized how many trips I could take out of my week that I was running back and forth to the store to get certain things, it showed me that a lot of times that I claim I don't have time, it's because I didn't make time. And Tamara, I think you said that to me, and I loved it. It was amazing. The best point. Tamara said, a lot of times that I say I'm too busy, it's more that I didn't make time. It's not that I was too busy. So when you look at your schedule, we were talking about paring things down, see how you can organize your day, see how you can organize your week. With Sunday, try and get your stuff set up. I said in the other live video that I was listening to an organization podcast. I'm telling you guys, the organization has gone to the next level. I'm even listening to podcasts about it. And she was saying, have your Sunday basket where you go through all of your mail, you get your stuff situated. Don't have things pile up on you. Now that my house is organized, I find something and I know exactly where to put it. I know exactly where it'll go. We don't spend extra time in this past month. We haven't spent a second extra searching for things, hunting for things, rebuying things we already have. I couldn't tell you how many boxes of Dayquil or NyQuil that I found in my house when I was going through everything. So take the time. In the podcast, they said you could take 15 minutes a day to organize, but organization's in 3 steps, okay? You're going to declutter, then you're going to organize what you have left, and then you're automatically going to increase your productivity. So that goes with meal prep. This whole thing is about meal prep tips, and the organizing is going to go right in with the meal prep tips. So once you get your list going, you're going to feel so much better. Do you guys have any questions? No, everyone's good. Thanks for joining in. I really appreciate it, guys. I think that I might do this on Sundays or try and find a time that we could all meet up, and that way you guys can ask me some questions and I can kind of talk back and forth, and you guys could read each other's comments too, and we could get a discussion going. I really want to make this group a lot of fun. Oh, you're welcome, Leslie. Things have been going really, really well for me with mindset and organizing, and I've realized now that my problem was that I was only focusing on fitness. And I couldn't focus on fitness if everything else in my life wasn't up to snuff and wasn't where I needed it to be to really focus on those kind of things. And the problem is with a lot of us, we don't utilize proper self-care. So organizing your house, making sure that you take some time to meditate, making sure that you're eating healthy, that you're doing the things that are good for you, those things, when you line everything up, you're going to start feeling really, really amazing. And that's going to help you also not just focus on your external appearance as progress. Because for me, in 5 weeks, I haven't really been as obsessed with seeing where my progress pictures are at, because I've been looking around and paying attention to how my life is changing, and I'm freeing up time. I have an organized house. I have an organized business. We have an organized financial status. Like everything, I feel really good. And that's what it's all about. It's not just external, it's internal too. And you can change the reality and you can change your environment with some of these small little steps, like decluttering for 15 minutes a day. If I were you, the first place that made me feel really good about decluttering is my closet and my pantry. So when we go with, yes, Leslie, I agree with you 100%. She just said being organized is a total game changer. It seriously is, guys. I feel like I'm almost addicted to it. It's like drugs. But when you're in your pantry, that's going to really help you with your meal prep. That's going to help you stay on point. Another tip that I wanted to give you guys that I realized today, because we went to shoot at Subway for Eric. We were having lunch for Fit to Fat to Fit, and it took a longer time than I had anticipated. And although I had planned out my day, I got stuck where I was really, really hungry and I was not near anything that I wanted to have to eat. So with that being said, another meal prep tip or a trick could be just have something with you that you could have if you run into that situation. So if you could throw in your bag some almonds, you could throw in your bag some beef jerky. That's a really good one because it's not going to go bad. You can leave it in there for a while. A protein bar, something like that. Maybe even some protein powder. I know with that you need a shaker and water, and that might be a little bit more difficult. But having a few of those items just on your person, and maybe you will never use them, but then you don't find yourself eating, drive-through fast food, something like that. That's a lot better. Even some of the worst protein bars out there, because there are some that are just like candy bars. Even if you pick that, that's going to be so much better than running in somewhere and grabbing just whatever's on the menu, or waiting to eat and being starving and hitting home and just raiding your pantry. Because you guys know, if you wait until you're absolutely starving and you come home and start eating, it takes a long time, over 20 minutes, for your stomach to let your brain know that you're full. And that can be 20 minutes. Let me tell you how many calories I can consume in 20 minutes. So you just don't want to get to that point. You just want to kind of toe the line. Make sure that you have something with you when you're hungry. And even if it's in the morning, if you don't want to have anything processed and you just want to throw an apple in your bag or something like that, that's something that you won't just be able to leave there, but you could have that with you for a while. So I hope that this helps. I hope that these videos do help. I do like to take some time and chat with you. And whenever you guys come up to me and ask me certain things, it really sticks with me. And I know meal prep and planning ahead is a struggle for so many of my clients, myself included. It's gotten a lot easier for me now that I've utilized some of these tricks and I've planned my day ahead and I have a better understanding of what's in foods. I'll carry a backup snack like we just talked about. I'll make sure that my grocery list is everything that I'm going to use and eat. I've actually gone through now our freezer. I organized that where in one shelf it's all chicken, another shelf it's all steak and fish, another shelf is kind of my son really likes those frozen waffles and things like that, and I'm okay with him eating those. So he has those there, his like chicken nuggets, things like that. So my freezer's all organized out too. You guys might want to really think about doing that with your freezer so that you could use the strategy that I just mentioned, that if you know that you only have every other weekend that you could meal prep, you could do enough for 2 weeks. You could take half of it and freeze it and put it in your freezer in a Ziploc. Just write the date and write the name of what the meal is. And then promise yourself that you're going to do that for yourself, that you're going to pull those meals out and let them defrost. And that way you're not going to waste money. You're not going to take those extra trips like we were talking about, and you'll have enough for the whole 2 weeks. I like to have frozen fruit in my freezer too. That makes it really easy for smoothies and things like that. You can have frozen vegetables. So you can have fresh for the first part of your meal prep, and then you can switch to frozen if you don't have time to make all these runs to the grocery store, because let's face it, it's tough. Like, we're all on tight schedules. I wanted to also say that if you've been a previous client of mine, I'm running a 20% off special. So that's off of weekly programs for one-on-one coaching. So that's a little bit bump of the decrease in price from my normal prices, because I'd love to fill, I have 2 more openings in February. I'd love to fill them up, and I'd love to fill them with past clients. I love when you guys come back. So everyone, have a good day, and I hope that you guys had an amazing weekend and you're all ready for the week ahead.